How y'all doing this Sunday night? It's a rainy night here in New York. Figured I'd bring something here that's a little interesting. I found this article on Facebook, and I thought it was a very interesting article. Basically it talks about it's don't mistake a great sex partner for a great life partner. Just because the sex is good, that doesn't mean automatically mean he's the one. Or in this case, he or she is the one. That's how I'm going to keep it as that. Because it speaks to both. I believe this speaks to both men and women. When I turned 45 this past summer, I wrote an article about what I would have told my 25-year-old self. While I did touch on a few relationship points, I think in hindsight that the reason why I left this one out is because it really does deserve a write-up of its own. The reason why I say that is because when I look back on some of the greatest sex that also turned out to be some of the most profound folks past that I've experienced in my entire life was because of the title of this piece right here. If there's one thing that I admire about people who wait until marriage before doing the do, it's the fact that they made a formal long-term commitment before giving it up on their wedding night. They don't have to wonder if the feelings are real or if the person they just had sex with will be there the next morning or even 20 years later, God willing. When it comes to all of the intensity and closeness that transpires, there's no need to try and figure out what part is physical and what part is emotional, what part they need to question, what part they can fully trust in. It doesn't matter. The love is there. The connection is solidified. Great sex and a great life partner, again, God willing, are able to go in hand. I'd have to say, it's best to wait in this day and age because, people today are really extremely selfish. That's all I could say. In this day and age, people are extremely selfish. Got people just using people for what they want to get out of it and don't care about the other partner. You got women using men for babies and then discarding the man. Okay. You have women just and then divorcing. And some women are just doing it because they just want to have the responsibilities, and men vice versa. They want the title of husband and the man, but they don't want to fulfill the duties of being the man and the head of the household. And those things are easily to be discovered when you leave sex out of the equation. And you're just talking to get to know somebody. Even if you're just looking for a fling, it's good to know those things. Okay. But what if you see sex differently from those who chose to wait until their I do's? Is there some sort of automatic way to keep from confusing good sex with a great relationship? I'm not sure if there's a ton of scientific data on that, but what I can share with you is a few things that life certainly taught me on this particular topic. My first sex partner was my first love. We were both young and didn't have a clue that we were doing what we're doing. Plus, due to his immaturity, it took a while to sign on to certain activities, kind of prefer to what only 35% of men go down, say it and so. To get what I was talking about, I think that's why my second sex partner was able to get away with so much. When I say that man was fine, it's all tall, chocolate, and freaky too. This is why some women have a hard time, and men too, to get away from toxic people, because the sex keeps you there, and And then by the time you realize this person is toxic, it's hard as hell to get them out of your life, you know. And it makes 10 times the problem worse if you have a kid with this person. Although in some ways we were homies, if you were to ask me what his great personality or character traits were, I'd have to sit on that. He was witty, I give him all that. Still, it's not like I was mentally or emotionally altered for the best by his influence or anything. That doesn't mean that I didn't think that I was at the time. Shoot, any man you lust who is more than willing to do stuff to you that your first love wouldn't until years later is someone who intends to give you all the feels that make you think there is something real. But trust me, if you can't really think of too many redeeming qualities other than how he puts it down, that is the first red flag. There might not be much other than the orgasmic aftershocks masking themselves as genuine emotional attachment. And this happens with men too, because if she things with her body, knows how to use all the things with her body, it's going to blind you to her nasty attitude, other types of toxic traits that she has. And like for men too, if you can't name a few good things, not even a lot of good things about her other than the sex, that is also a red flag for men. Okay? The fact of the matter is that the sex is great, but the personality is trash. And that will be a problem. Okay? Because you can't really you can't think of anything better than the sex. And that's a problem. Sad to say, that's been an issue for men as well as for women. And sometimes, yeah, I mean, people are going to get mad, but waiting till marriage wins out. There's so many toxic relationships that have happened, so many horror stories that I've heard from men and women that, yeah, waiting till sex kind of wins out. It wins out most of the time. If you take out a moment to at least skim the article, The Signs of a Truly Intimate Relationship, you'll notice that sex isn't mentioned once. Affection is. But you can be affectionate with someone without any type of sexual activity transpiring. The reason why is that this is worth noting is because some people make the grave mistake of thinking that just because someone gives you their stomach butterflies, that it's automatically the beginning stages of intimacy. Nope. Just about every time that I see Kofi Sarobi in a pastel hue or Thomas Q. Jones, it's just about anything. My heart skips a beat. But I don't know them from Adam, and they don't know me either. Being attracted to someone simply means that they have some sort of quality that entices or allures. Intimacy, for real intimacy to happen, not only does time to cultivate, it has to go way beyond the physical. If the guy you're jonesing for isn't someone you can share some of your deepest secrets with, if he doesn't nurture and cherish you, or if you aren't able to say that you two have a strong friendship and spiritual bond, and get this, he is able to say that he sees you the same way. Sure, the attraction may be strong, but also might be all that is drawing the two of you together. That's basically it. It's kind of like a man, you see a woman and you can't, that you've had great sex, but you can't really tell her, have deep conversations with her. You can't really tell her your feelings about how you feel about things and who you are as a human being, as an individual. Then she's not the one for you. Kev on stage has a relatively new segment called Dear Kev. That is comedy. Yeah, I've seen his comedies. They're great. He sits in one of his church suits, puts on a pair of glasses, even though he doesn't need them, reads questions, and gives them the worst TMI advice around. Oh, but as they say, a clock is right twice a day. In one of his latest offerings, Kev said, when you see things through rose-colored glasses, red flags simply look like flags. Somebody sign up for that man's Patreon. It's true. I can't tell you how many women have told me how upset they are because the guy that they were having sex with led them on by making them think that they wanted an entire future with them. When I asked them what the man did to cause them to think that way, very rarely do they bring up him saying, I love you, him showing her off to his family and friends, or him even really taking her out or talking about a future. Usually what I get is a blank stare followed by, I mean, we've been having sex for months now. Then it's my turn to give them a blank stare. Woo! When I once asked a male friend when I once asked a male friend how so many women can have sex with women, how many men could have sex with women who they care absolutely nothing about, he simply said, do you think it's emotional for me to go and jack off in the shower, jack off in the shower, jack off on the girl? One simply feels better, but honestly, it's always worth the headache. It isn't always worth the headache. Now, they ask this question, but the reality is, look, men and women lust. Okay? Men and women lust. There are women who could have sex with a man and don't have really any feelings for. There are men that have sex with women and don't have any feelings for. Okay? Lust is lust. Okay? The person looks good, smells nice. You have a few little conversations here and there. All right? You agree on sex. You have sex. And that's all there is about it. That's it. And you move on to the next and the next and the next partner. That's it. That might have been hard to read, but that doesn't make it any less true. For better or for worse, a lot of men can clearly tell the difference between someone who they thoroughly enjoy having sex with versus someone they want to have a relationship with. Sometimes those things are the one and the same. Sometimes they aren't. But what you don't need to do is be out here thinking that just because he loves the sex, that's a foreshadowing of him eventually falling in love with you. This brings me to my next point. A lot of women just say, oh, well, how can men do this? But they do the same thing. And you, come on now. That's what gets me. This is what gets me, man. It's the cognitive dissonance, the women just thinking that they don't do the same thing. That's what gets me. It kills me. It's like you don't think that. Oh God! You don't think men do the same thing? That's the thing. Some women have this idea that how could men be such dogs? But women are doing the same thing. Okay? Men have sex partners, women have sex partners. There's a guy who I once had a crush on who said something to me that took me a minute to really understand. When he told me that he dug me in a lot of ways, but he didn't want to take it there, his reason was, I want to be good for you, not to you. Translation, if we have sex, it will probably be off the chain. But if I can't promise you more than that, it would end up hurting you in the long run. That's just not worth it. And you got men who feel the same way. I saw on Facebook a couple of days ago about a conversation between a man and a woman. All right. And the woman was saying, I don't want to date you. You're a good guy. I want to, have my fun. Basically what she was saying, I want to have my fun and then I'll come back to you. All the girls do that. They keep the good guy in the back, in the reserves, and they have their fun. Okay. And she wants to get mad when it's done to her. This is why you can't take women seriously, man, when they act like this. They play that fake victim role. Because I see now it's coming down when I'm reading the article, she has this fake victim role. I'm like, give me a break. Oh, how those two little words, 2 and 4, can totally alter a relationship. When a man is only looking for great sex, he may only care about being good to you. But if he's serious about guarding your heart, protecting your friendship, and building something substantial, he's going to do things that are good for you. If that means queering Janet Jackson's Let's Wait a While, have y'all seen her video? He's still fine. or even avoiding sex altogether. Please remember your worth and value to know that sometimes there is true protection in that kind of rejection. If sex can't be good to you and for you, it's okay. Recommend even to take a hard pass or receive one. As often as I have the opportunity to do it, I share a video of a woman who provides some of the straight up insight on the physical consequences of sex that aren't discussed very often. For instance, did you know that if you have unprotected sex with two different guys within a few days, you will probably catch a cold case? Your body is made to only handle one set of sperm. Therefore, it will abandon your immune system to get the other sperm out. Amazing. The moral is this: just because a lot of us may take a casual approach to sex, that doesn't mean that our body does. There are natural hormones like oxytocin that causes us to bond with our partner. Interesting. No matter where our head may be at concerning him, that's why folks can have one night stand and end up damn near stalking the person the following week. They think it's an emotional connection when it could be just the oxytocin just surging through their system. After all, they don't call it the love hormone for nothing. That said, one of my favorite quotes on hell is by an old English philosopher named Thomas Hobbes. He once said that hell is truth seen too late. I can't tell you how many times an oxytocin high has caused me not to want to look at the real truth about a relationship or situationship that I was in, that now caused me to send myself through some pretty hellish moments and experiences. It takes more than sexual compatibility to make something last. If you choose not to believe that, one way or another, hell is exactly what you're headed for. If not today, someday. If not with the current guy, another one. I'm going to be straight up on this one. Unless you are a 16-year-old girl, I'm hoping you already know that it's a bit delusional and manipulative to wait until during sex to have the first heartfelt and profound conversations. Just think about it. What exactly do you expect a guy to say to you when he's inside of you and you whisper, "Do you love me?" in his ear? If he doesn't and he decides to be honest with you about it, how do you expect the rest of the particular experience to go? Hence the article, how much can you trust I love you during sex? Of course not. Come on. Well, the guy's going to probably tell you I love you just so you don't stop having sex with him. I'm not saying that the bedroom is an off-limit space for verbal affirmations or emotional conversations. What I'm saying is that there's something that you generally want to know. You should probably do it before or after sex, not right before or right after either. Remember in the movie A Thin Line Between Love and Hate, when Darnell, played by Martin Lawrence, talked about getting some head that was so good that he said, "I love you," right in the midst of ejaculating. What he meant was, "I love it, not her." Clearly because he passed her off to one of his homies for a discount on a shirt. Knowing the difference is a total game changer. It's a potential lifesaver as well. Back when I wrote this article, 5 things that are okay to acquire on a first date, some people found required to be too harsh of a word. When you think that time is something that you can never get back, I don't. Yes, men are grown. Yes, none of us can make them be chivalrous or honest when it comes to the answers to our questions that they give. But at the same time, for every action, there is most certainly a reaction. If a guy doesn't meet our requirements, we are fully within our rights to not see him again. Same thing goes for what we require before any nookie goes down. If you really want to know if you run the risk of mistaking a great sex partner for a great life partner, reflect on how he treats you whenever you're not naked or when he's not trying to get you naked. Does he take you out on dates, ones that are outside of both you guys' homes? Is he affectionate with you even without the need for sex? Does he call you during business rather than booty call hours? If guys is trying to cultivate an actual relationship, he's going to act like there's something more to what the two of you have than physical. He will initiate and be intentional about spending non-bedroom related quality time as well. If you can't honestly say that this is what's transpiring, right, Whether you want to admit it to yourself, your what's up or not, I've got a feeling that you know. Now what? Sex is temporary. The experience, the feelings of all of it. That is why I'm a firm believer that sex doesn't make love. Sex celebrates love. In order for you to do that, love needs time to plant itself and grow. Moving on to my last point. If you're someone who desires nothing more than a good time, you're grown. Do you? But if you're truly feeling someone and you're thinking that sex is going to make love move to get him to want the same things that you do, that's quite the gamble. Please rethink that strategy. Life is not fair to either one of you. If you're going to use sex to try and create a mental, emotional, and spiritual bond, sex shouldn't be a tool to get a man to want to be with you. It should be experience to enjoy once you already know that he does. That's the truth, because you can't be using sex as a manipulative tool. Guys hate that, and you can't be mad when that guy wants to, leave you because you want to be manipulative with sex. Just be honest. And, ladies should be okay with just saying, if what you want. If you want sex, fine. If you want a relationship, fine. But also remember that you have to deal with the fact that the man may leave or he doesn't want that, and you have to be okay with that. Just set what you want, and that's it. Same thing for men. Always got to be okay with the rejection. I've been there when I say that a lot of us confuse a great sex partner for a great life partner because we weren't clear about our own true motives and intentions from the jump. If you want a relationship, work on building that before bringing sex into it. But once he puts it on you, and it's going to be harder to tell what the sex and what's the relationship. And sometimes trying to figure out the difference is like trying to pull two pieces of paper that are joined by glue apart. There will be remnants of bewilderment that could take weeks, if not months, to work through. And believe me, no matter how good the sex might be, the fallout, even if it's only internal, simply isn't worth it. Yeah, it gets ugly. That fallout gets ugly. When it finally comes to fruition that, it's just sex, and the person may want something more, that's when it gets ugly. That's when the big breakups happen. That's when the nastiness happens. Oh, I'm pregnant, blah, 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 baby mama, baby daddy drama, court, all that type of stuff. Can you have a great sex and a great life partner? 100%. Should you use sex to try and make a great relationship happen? Absolutely not. If something lasting is what you want, let both of your emotions connect before oxytocin does. You'll be able to trust your judgment a lot better that way, and so will he. Makes sense. That makes sense. Because it's better just lay your cards on the table. And I'll just be honest, waiting till the relationship, it leads to marriage, wins out. Get mad, not trying to force anything on anybody, but the reality is, as I've gotten older, yeah, that wins out in the end. Getting to know the person, talking to that person, even if you want to just, if you're into just, having casual sex, or you want to wait till marriage, getting to know the person works, and you find out where their head's at, he or she's head's at, that works, because then you can make a firm decision. I'm not dealing with this person anymore, or you will press forward. Okay? And that works. It does work compared to the times when you just roll in the hay or you jump the broom without getting to know that person, and then that's when the fallout happens. Okay? So, hope you enjoyed this article, and there'll be more of this stuff. All right, later.